On Sunday, the 2nd of September 1666, as London lay asleep, a fire took hold in a bakery on Pudding Lane. The warehouses and stores in this area were full of barrels of tar, oil, brandy, and piles of rope, hay, and coal, perfect for starting a great fire. With not enough people to fight the flames, it quickly spread.
The Great Fire was not the only serious fire in the 17th century. 30 years earlier, a fire destroyed about a third of the houses on London Bridge, as well as around 80 in the North End parish, and a section of the bridge. And it was this that helped prevent the Great Fire in 1666 spreading across the river. In 1666, most houses were made of wood and pitch. London streets were narrow and buildings leant outward, making it easier for flames to spread. In fact, a previous monarch named King James I had tried to make it law to build houses in brick, and because of this risk.
The summer had been hot and dry, and water was scarce. On the day of the Great Fire, a strong wind blew in from the east, making the flames spread faster. The flames reached temperatures of at least 1200 degrees Celsius. How do we know this? Because archaeologists found pieces of melted pottery from the Great Fire. Now that is hot. Thatch, made mostly of dried reeds, was commonly used to make roofs in medieval times, but because of several large fires it was banned in the City of London. This meant by 1666 most houses had roofs covered in tiles or slates.
It is a myth that the fire stopped the Great Plague of 1665. Many areas affected by the plague were untouched by the fire.
It wasn't just buildings and people who suffered the effects of the Great Fire. Samuel Pepys, a famous diarist of the time, wrote about watching a cat being rescued from a burnt-out building. All of its fur had been singed off. Aww. In 1561, a lightning strike started a fire which burnt down the spire of St. Paul's and damaged the cathedral structure. Neglected over several centuries, it was in need of repair. By 1666, some parts of the cathedral were covered in wooden scaffolding, which caught fire, leading to the destruction of the whole building.
There were 109 churches in the City of London. The Great Fire destroyed 87, and only 51 were ever rebuilt. There was no fire brigade in London in 1666. Londoners had to fight fire themselves. Firefighting equipment such as leather buckets, axes and water squirts were kept at local churches and by the main city trade associations or livery companies for use in emergencies. When the Great Fire took hold, even King Charles II wasn't afraid of rolling up his sleeves. He carried buckets of water to help put out the flames and gave money as a reward to people who fought the fire. The Great Fire lasted for 4 days. In that time, over 13,000 houses, 87 churches and 436 acres of the city were destroyed. Rebuilding London was a major task and took over 40 years.